Just because a car is fashionable doesn't mean it can't also be practical. For proof of that, Citroen brings us a revitalised version of their C3 Aircross small SUV. Square-shaped but well-rounded, this comfort-focused and highly personalisable package is their idea of what a little SUV should be.
This improved C3 Aircross may have gained a bit of attitude, but inevitably it remains about as comfortable on the rough stuff as the average upper-class Parisian would be in a tent, which of course won't bother potential buyers one jot. Instead, this car's destined for the urban jungle, an environment well suited to its beautifully supple suspension and easy manoeuvrability. Go beyond the city limits and start to push through the bends a bit, and you'll have to contend with a bit of body roll, but in compensation there's plenty of grip, and it's usually pretty straightforward to place the nose of the car where you want it. The steering helps in that regard, the power assistance being a bit more progressive in its input than it is in the conventional C3 model. This Aircross model gets the higher end engine options you'd find with that car, with the core range based around Citroen's usual 1.2 litre PureTech turbocharged petrol unit, offered with 110 horsepower in 6-speed manual form, or with 130 horsepower as an EAT6 6-speed automatic, which is the version we're trying here. Capable of up to 47.3 mpg on the combined cycle and up to 140 grams per kilometre of CO2. If you want to do better, you'll be interested to know that a manual-only 1.5 litre blue HDI diesel model still resides in the price list, but that'll account for only 4% of sales. Performance in the two petrol variants is acceptable, with 62 miles an hour coming up in just over 9 seconds if you can get all the power down through the front wheels. As is usual in this class, there's no four-wheel drive option. What you can have for the winter months, though, is an extra cost grip control system which tweaks the ESP stability control setup so that there's extra front wheel traction when you need it most. This car feels like it's up for a bit of fun, doesn't it? Its styling, all jaunty bulges, contrasting colours and Tonka toy-like looks. Shy and retiring folk won't see the point, but the fashionistas should love it. This improved version looks a bit more purposeful than its predecessor, but it's pitched at the same segments. Not much has changed here at the side, but there's plenty going on, particularly if you have a car embellished with one of the 4 different colours packs available, provided you avoid base trim. We've got the Polar White pack here, which adds that colour to the roof and mirrors and to the framing of this rather curious signature profile styling flourish. This Venetian blind effect rear quarter light, made from polycarbonate and layered with coloured film. So, rather wild and wacky outside, which makes you wonder what might await you in the cabin. Well, there's a lot going on, isn't there? What's new is this larger 9-inch centre screen, and with a top spec trim level that most customers want, these unusual, overstuffed, advanced comfort seats. Now, as before, what you ultimately get with this car depends quite a lot on whether you've been able to stretch up to one of the pricier trim levels and therefore open up access to one of the 3 nicer interior design packs. But even without extra trimming tinsel, there are plenty of unique design touches to be found around a cabin, like these quirky little upright air vents, the retro style instrument dial graphics, a curiously stylised handbrake lever, a squarical flat bottom steering wheel, and even an indented reverse air bump theme on the door cards. There's a reasonable amount of cabin storage space too, and decent build quality from the Spanish factory. Time to take a seat in the rear. Go for a top Shine Plus variant like this one and you get the flexibility of this sliding rear bench that features a 60-40 split and moves back and forth over a 150mm range. It's a great feature to have on a car of this class, but it's really annoying that you can't have it on more affordable versions of this model, even as an option. The seat back reclines too for greater comfort on longer journeys, and another feature of note that requires an ample budget is this optional panoramic glass roof, which opens, has a powered blind, and occupying a glazed area of nearly 1 metre in length is supposed to be the largest in the segment. If you can't afford it, console yourself that it robs occupants back here of a few crucial inches of headroom. Last but not least, let's take a look at the boot. Now, raise the rear hatch when the back seat is set for maximum legroom, and there's 410 litres of capacity on offer. To help you make good use of the space on offer, there's this useful adjustable height boot floor panel. Push forward the entire rear seat and you'll reveal an almost flat loading floor with as much as 1,289 litres of total fresh air if you load it to the roof. When it all comes down to it, this is an appealing, distinctive and nicely equipped little SUV. Unlike most cars in this class, it actually feels better on the road than the Super Mini it's based on and offers an awful lot more than the ordinary C3 hatch in return for the reasonable premium in price being asked. It's Citroen's idea of what a small SUV of this kind should be, and that makes it a little different from your other choices in this class, which might mean you'll end up liking this car a lot more than you thought you were going to. We did.